Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this wonderful, wonderful place that we called Earth. Happy Friday to you and welcome. As always, normally we do this show on a Friday and it's a premiered video, but we thought, sod it, let's go live. Brian Daigle, one of my favorites in YouTube. Shouldn't have favorites, but how are you, mate? You good?
I'm good, mate. Not only is it a Friday, it's live. Not only does Spurs have official furniture partners, but SAVVA, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, SAVVA. What a better time to go live. What a time to be alive. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you very much. Do you know what? It makes me laugh. It's like I woke up this morning and the wife was like, "Happy birthday," and I was just kind of like, "Yeah." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're younger and you're like, "Oh my God, what presents did I get? And where am I going? And this is a magical day." And I woke up and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Like we're going for dinner tonight. Yeah, it's all right." And I've walked the dogs. I've set up a few streams, and there's nothing birthday about it until I saw you. And I was hoping you'd do one of those kind of. Was it the Marilyn Monroe, Mr. President?
Oh, I jumped out of a cake. I've ordered it from Temu. It's just not arrived just yet. Next week we'll do it. But you know what, Savvy? You'll enjoy this birthday a lot more because, as you know, you're on a journey at the moment, and you're doing very, very well, and you're feeling better and everything. You'll enjoy this birthday and remember it.
Do you know the funny thing is because a cheeky people, someone in the chat saying Daryl Denton, I'm over 40, mate. This is not my 40th. This is not my 41st. This is my 42nd birthday. 42 years of being Tottenham as well, by the way. How Spurs life get. And big up to Mojo Matsi giving the happy 29th. I'll take it. I would have taken anything that started with a 3, let alone a 2. So,
yeah.
Thank you very much. Big up. And we'll go to the chat as we go through. Big up to each and every one of you. Listen, this is going to be the first birthday I celebrate without drinking as well. And it's funny, I'm going for a meal tonight with my wife and all of her mates. They're my mates now, but they were her mates and their husbands and stuff. And bless them. One of them messaged earlier and was like, sorry, SAVVA, we know you don't drink anymore. Is it okay if we have a drink at dinner tonight? I'm like, yes. Exactly. Like, just because I'm not drinking, I don't want everyone sitting there on Coca-Cola. Do you know what I mean? So, exactly. Listen, Brian, apart from the fact that it is the 1st of November, apart from the fact that trick-or-treaters were bloody annoying last night for Halloween, yes, we've not spoken for a couple of weeks for various reasons, but and since then, I'd love to turn around and go, "Oh my God, Spurs have been great," or "Oh my God, Spurs have been shit," but we haven't. We've just kind of been
Tottenham. We've been Spursy.
We've been Tottenham. And for anybody who's not seen this show before, this is where one of us puts together some subjects, hasn't told the other one, and I haven't told you what I've done. I've only put 4 today because I wanted a more light-hearted show, because every time Spurs win a game, I get a million messages. You would think I support Arsenal. Like the messages I get going, gutted, Spurs won. It's like, what? What do you mean gutted? I'm a Spurs fan. But hey, it is what it is. Big up to everybody in the chat. I hope you're well. Do smash the like button as you come in. The first subject, and I'm going to give one spoiler away. It's not this subject, but one of the subjects is about Korean furniture deals. So we will be speaking about that, Brian, because for my birthday, Daniel Levy signed a new deal with a Korean furniture company. So we will talk about that because that's what we do. But the first subject I want to talk about today is this, Mr. Dave. It is Jekyll and Hyde Spurs.
Yep.
What I mean by this, mate, is I think everything about this football club is Jekyll and Hyde. I don't want to say bipolar. People keep saying in my chat bipolar. I want to say Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
Results are Jekyll and Hyde. Our transfers are Jekyll and Hyde. Our managers from this level to this level are Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
The fan base is Jekyll and Hyde. You know, last week it's a process, it's a project, it's going to take time. Give Ange 5 years. Then we beat Man City, and this is who we are, mate. This is Ange Ball. We're amazing. Everyone's in the mud. Talk to me about Jekyll and Hyde Tottenham, Brian.
first of all, I think you've got the perfect name for the naming rights to the stadium, isn't it? The Jekyll and Hyde Arena. That's how. If that's not naming rights, I don't know what is. Maybe we can adapt that. You and me, Sam, for our streams live from the Jekyll and Hyde Arena. You can call it for your watch-alongs. Look, if you look at just the last two results, we lose to Palace, who haven't won a game all season. Yeah. And then the very next game, we beat Manchester City, who haven't lost a game all season. Timo Werner finally scores a goal. Within minutes, Van der Ven gets an injury. It's just like literally for everything that happens, there's a line in my favorite movie, Snatch. For every action, there is a reaction. And it just seems that way with Spurs. Listen, I'm sure we'll get into this, and people are very aware that I am very much Angian, and I want him to stay, and I want him to be given a chance. But it's not because I'm 100%, I love everything he does or everything he says. It's because I want Spurs to stay with a manager and actually give a manager time to actually try and do so. Rather than 2 years Jose, 2 years Yol, 2 years this, 2 years that, 2 years. I want to see, even if it had been Nuno right now, I'd be like, right, let's just ride this out just to see that we try. Do you know what? If we go 4 years with the manager and it doesn't work, we can say, do you know what? We tried this 4 year thing. We gave him the time. But yeah, this football club, I mean, I've come off Twitter for the time being, just because I've had enough of it. But obviously, I get sent a lot of things like we all do in WhatsApp, whatever. And I've seen Paul O'Keefe has come out big time last few days. I don't know. I don't even know what more to say. We are so very, very Jekyll and Hyde in every single aspect. In every single aspect. Even the medical team, we start getting players back and they get injured. Mate, honestly, I think it is Jekyll and Hyde Hotspur, isn't it? I don't even know what more.
Something in the water. I don't know in the water, Brian.
There is, honestly. I don't know what more you can say. That look, I honestly thought we were going to go into the Crystal Palace game, get the 3 points, and then people start talking. And then we saw that absolutely pathetic performance. And then you beat Man City. I know it's a weaker Man City. We played a weaker team. We just can't do anything right, can we? Or for a prolonged period. Do
you know what, mate? What I find truly funny, and why I call it Jekyll and Hyde, is when Spurs lose a game, right? Look, I'm someone, I like to think I've got very high standards. I want things more than anyone. I want consistency. And I've used the word consistency, Brian, since we've known each other. I've always been like that. And it's the one thing that Spurs don't give me is the one thing I want. I'm not saying we have to win things every year. I just want some consistency in performances, and we don't. We do this.
Yeah.
What I love, though, and this is truly, I'm finding it more and more funny as I get older on YouTube. The more experience I got on YouTube is, I know when Spurs win, the comments I'll get will just be, I mean, hyperbolic would probably be the best term for it. I know that I'm going to wake up and I know that people are going to send me in WhatsApps. They're going to send me in what this person said on X. If you see what this person said, and it's the same fans that straight away from the other night, Kulu is world class. This guy is a beast. This guy gets into any team in the world. And you're like 3 days before saying, oh, well, Kulu got subbed off against Crystal Palace. This is Tottenham. That last night, that is Angie's Tottenham.
Yeah.
You look at Palace and it's, oh, you're happy we lost, blah, blah, blah. It's a project. I just find, like, I would love, I don't know about you, Brian, I would just love to have just a bit of calm in the fan base. Every defeat doesn't have to be the end of the world.
Yep.
And every win doesn't have to be, we're amazing, because I don't know another fan base that does this. I don't know another fan base that we beat Man City, right? After we beat Man City after not having beaten a good team for months and months and months. And our fans go, there you go, that's the turning point. We're winning a league. And you're like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Just some consistency, please, Brian.
Yep. What? Well, you look at it, and let's talk about this fan base, for instance, for a time being. I'm not just talking about the people that are on YouTube. I'm not talking about the people in chat. I'm talking across the board, our fan base. I spoke to you before the summer came in at great detail, and other YouTube said, right, listen, I'm changing my tact. I'm going to be a bit more balanced. I am going to call Levy out whenever I see the time is. I am not letting him off the hook. I'm not changing my stance on Levy, but I am not talking about this all the time. My channel is Tottenham on Tour, not Levy on tour. I go on We Are Tottenham TV, not We Are Levy TV. I go on, it's Tottenham. So I was like, I said to you, and I spoke to you behind the scenes. I spoke to quite a few of my nearest and dearest. Said, right, change my tact. When I need to go on Levy, I will jump on him quicker than you can think. But other times, I'm not going to constantly talk about it. That's what, and I have become more balanced. I look at the footballing side, but like you said, I am very much, and you know, we've had this discussion privately, personally on shows. I'm very much hand in. I'm not saying we're winning the Champions League or getting Champions League. I'm not saying we're going for the title. I'm not saying, but I'm not one of these, like you said, where people go, when we get a good win, is, oh my God, look at that, we're flying, we're going to get. And I'm not one of those that when we lose, go, oh my fucking God, what we do. It's like literally, we get a win, great. I was absolutely, I haven't watched any YouTube from the Man City game like YouTubers. I was absolutely delighted with the Man City game. I don't care about the performance. I don't care about the. I've been very open. I don't care about the Premier League this year. All I care about is FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa League. We get through to the next round. I don't care if we knock a team out 4-0 and play electric football, or it's the most dull game and we score a winner and a 1-0 in the 88th minute. I don't care. We're through to the next round. That's what matters. But we have got it. It's the way that this football club has been led to be run, where everything is either right at the very, very top or right at the very, very bottom. There is no middle. Like, you know what? We got to win. Brilliant. Let's move on. Now let's see what we do against Villa. It's insane. It's insane. There's meltdowns, but meltdowns. What's the opposite of a meltdown? Super duper ultra positive, whatever. This is
what's right. Melting, cooling,
exactly.
A cool up,
a cool. Yeah, let's have a cool up. See, look, the Jekyll and Hyde Stadium, cool up. There you go. We're being.
You know what I think is funny, Brian? What I truly love, right? Is look, I said a few months back, Angel. Literally, it was about 8 weeks ago on a show.
Yep.
I don't ever come on a show since and say Angel. I say I'm not impressed by him. I say that there's things I want to see differently about him. I've said that I'm not. I don't rate him because I said Angel once. Every time Spurs win a game, are you still Angel? Are you still? It's like, oh my God, like let it go. Like, what's funny is if you turn around in life and say, I don't rate the manager. What people hear me saying into this magical mic, which changes my words, is, you know what? I think Spurs are going to lose every single game of football we play. And honestly, people are coming in when we win games saying gutted. Like, Brian, I'm in my 40s. I've supported this team through thick and thin. I've never, ever said I want Tottenham to lose a game of football. And I just find it mad how we all go at each other so much, whether we win, whether we lose. Some people are called happy clappers. Other people are called, we're negative doom merchants. It's like, listen, all I want to see from Tottenham Hotspur is I just want to see a little bit of consistency where we're not like, if you look at our last lot of games, other than Europe, right?
Yep.
Lot of games, right? It went. Let me make sure I get this right. Okay, let me make sure I get this right, because otherwise somebody will pull. You know what it's like. Someone will pull you up on any little thing you get wrong. So if I look at Tottenham's results, right, and I'm not gonna do league, just league, right? If I look at Tottenham's results, and we'll go back as far as beat Everton, lost to Newcastle. Lost to Arsenal, beat Brentford, beat Man United, lost to Brighton, beat West Ham, lost to Palace. You know what I mean? It's like, and for me, I just want to see some consistency. I will never change. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, Brian. Until I see that, I'm not prepared to jump on this. Oh my God, do you see that football we played? Just crazy. And I'm seeing what makes me laugh even more. Sorry, Brian, to go on a bit of a
go on, bro.
I used to watch a lot of panel shows. I don't mean Spurs panel shows. I used to watch a lot of panel shows where you've got an Arsenal, a Chelsea, a Man U, a Liverpool. when I see the Spurs people going on and representing Spurs on these panel shows, I am embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed by the way we've got this arrogance and this nerve to dig out Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Man United. I sit there and watch them, gutted, and I'm like, all of these teams have won multiple trophies. Multiple trophies. And we're sitting there going, it's madness. But anyway,
I will say one thing, Savile, with what you just said, with what you get with people coming into you when we win, saying, you still hand out, blah, 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 blah. I now get the reverse of that. When we lose, I get people coming for me going, oh my God, I still can't believe you have faith in Ange and you say you're going to back Ange and you're going to do this. And I'm like, but this is the thing. What gets me is I've said it openly on social media and on streams. I have never once turned a back on a manager, not once, and I won't start doing it now, because as much as I stand up for what I believe is wrong with all of the man up top, I've always had faith in the manager and the man. So I'm not changing that now. That's the thing. That's what we got to realize. It's people know well and truly where my issues lie within this football club, and that's not changing ever. But I'm not going to change just because we lost the game. Just like you said, you're not going to change when we win a game. If we get that's the thing. It's just madness. We have to, and people won't even debate now. It's like, oh, you're deluded, you're stupid. You can't even say, well, let's have a conversation and say, do you know what? I listen. I even say, I can see where people are coming from that range out. I can understand it. I can totally understand it. I've referred to it before, Savile, that if you and I were going to court and one of us were the lawyers for Ange in and Ange out, and this was the court, these stats and figures and facts and a waveform and all that, big up Lewis, brother, that are coming out, there's a lot more evidence, let's say, if we were going to court to back for the lawyer of Ange out to go, right, well, he hasn't won this in away, 3 away games, no clean sheet. But there's no doubt. I understand it and I appreciate that fans feel that way. But then appreciate that other people feel the other way, that they want to give the manager time.
Absolutely. And you know, this is the thing. As I said it once a while back. I'm not sitting there every day screaming Ange out. I acknowledge Ange isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Also acknowledge that for him to impress me, it can't be the odd good result. I need to see consistency. And that's all I've asked for. I just want to bring up a comment. A big up to Maximum Feeling. Big up to you, my friend. Listen, I think the problem is, Maximum, is, and I'll tell you what, let's talk about this before we go on to our next subject, because I did only pick, by the way, because I wanted to be lighthearted. I think the thing is, Maximum Feeling, and big up, thanks for bringing this up. It's a really good talking point. I think the difference is, Brian, is that when Spurs change managers, we always refer rebuild. Now, first of all, I think the terminology is wrong, because I always ask this question. You know I do, Brian. Rebuild from what? What are we rebuilding? Chelsea are rebuilding from a team that used to win Champions Leagues and leagues. They're rebuilding. This is what we've done for decades. What are we rebuilding? Second of all, I think that the club needs to get to a point where even if we change manager, Brian, that it's not a rebuild, that the players we're bringing in for each manager are good enough that the new manager coming in can continue to build from that. I think we get this notion that every time a manager comes in, we're going to have to buy 11 new first-team players and a brand new squad. Football shouldn't be like that. New managers going in. When the next manager goes into Man City, he's not going to be rebuilding. That manager's going to add and carry on building, but it's not a rebuild. You know, I just think this word rebuild is used too easily to get away from the fact that we're a really badly run football club. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I'm just going to read out a couple of things, Paul O'Keefe, that I've had sent to me over the last 24, 48 hours.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
First one.
Big up Maximum Feeling. Big up.
I'm going to go back to it. This is going back to exactly what Maximum Feeling, because this is exactly how I feel as well. So Paul O'Keefe put, imagine boasting we need a big stadium and massive revenues to compete, then saying we'll do it with kids on contracts 25% of the established. Come on, man, are people being stupid? Maybe. Then he's actually come out yesterday and said that he doesn't think Spurs are going to be very active in the summer or January, because obviously we're trying to get the wages down and everything down, so we look good for an investor. So if that's going to happen, when a manager comes in, big up Psycho TJ. If a new manager was to come in, and it's like, right, we're not going to be spending money, we're going to be paying low wages. What manager's going to come in and go, yeah, I'm feeling that. Yeah, you're not going to get me the players I want. We're going to have to get younger players. We've got this big revenue. So every single time, and I've said it, and Savvy, you and I have discussed it before, every single time Spurs get a new manager, it's a manager with a completely different philosophy or style of play to the previous one. So you look at it, Arne Slot's got, Liverpool do this brilliantly. Apart from Benitez and Houllier, I remember from the times of Kenny Dalglish, Roy Evans, and all the other managers they've had, Jurgen Klopp, obviously, and they play attacking football. Liverpool play, that is always been their way. So Arne Slot comes in right now. He may not like all the players he's got, but they play in the formation, style, and brand of football he wants. So he may need to do a few move some out to get the ones he wants in. But he's like, right, I've got my team that can play a style. Every time at Tottenham, it's like, right, we've got an attacking manager, but then we get a defensive manager. We've got too many attacking players. So we have to get rid of them. And we do it on a cycle. So exactly like Maximum Feeling said, it's another reason why I'm like, right, I want Ange to stay. Because we have no idea. He's just been given £430 million. Whether people want to say he spent it wisely or badly, whatever way you want to look at it, they're his players now. So you're going to bring in another player and go, right, we spent 430 million and you're not going to get as much as him. Do stuff with these players. Do stuff. It's not on. I don't want another manager because we're going to go through the same crap again.
But what I want us to do is, look, for a minute, let's forget Ange. For a minute, forget Ange. Yeah. Forget who likes him, who doesn't, who this, who that. Forget that we're not consistent. For me, I just want to know that, listen, managers are all going to have different philosophies. Even if you have two attacking managers, they're going to have slightly different ways of doing it. And if we look at Klopp and Slot, for example, at Liverpool, right? Slot has slotted in nicely. Probably a really overused joke. That joke. Really overused joke. But Slot has gone in there, got the same squad. But yes, it's a strong squad, by the way. There's not that much that needs to be done to it. But he plays differently to Klopp, but has gone in there and he's putting his stamp in. What I think we need to do is have a blueprint. It doesn't have to be that every manager comes in and plays Ange ball, right? Sorry, just quickly, my 1 second.
Okay, he's just walked off in the middle of his.
Sorry, no.
He's back.
I'm back. Sorry, the pug was scratching at the door to get in, and I'd rather have him in here making noise than out there scratching at the door and all my paintwork. And now he's just going to go to sleep. For me, I want it that when Ange goes this year, next year, 5 years, that the next manager comes in doesn't have to be the exact same manager, but a manager that can get the players and not say, I need a whole new group. I want to add to it. I want to bring in 2 or 3 of my own. And this is the difference between this is the problem with Tottenham. We've gone from such extremes. We've gone from Conte, who's very much a well-organized, well-drilled manager with more of a let's not concede mindset, to Ange, who is completely the other way, not interested in controlling games and more about let's score more than the opposition. So the next manager that comes in needs to be a little bit, they can be in the middle, but you can't then go and bring in another Conte who then goes, what, all these wingers and attacking players? Nah, don't want them. So for me, for something to be called a rebuild, though, I think that it goes beyond a manager. The club has to build. The club, not the manager. Managers come and go.
Yep.
But this is the point I wanted to bring up. Not this. I do like this comment from Didier. He said, is this a case of make Tottenham great rather than great again? I like that. This comment was right for me. When people talk about it's a rebuild, This, big up Dave Raybold. Haven't seen you for ages, Dave. Hope you're well. Much love. This, for me, if people use the term rebuild, fine. But I don't see a rebuild. I don't see a build. What I see is a lot of young players coming in because their wages are cheap. Yeah. If in the summer he'd gone out and bought Gallagher, Eze, top holding midfielder, senior pros, I'll turn around and go, okay, we're building. But don't knock off fans by buying loads of teenagers for, that are probably on about 40 grand a week. And it's crazy when you say that out loud, 40 grand a week. Well, that are on 40 grand a week and we go, it's a rebuild. That's just cheap. That's not a rebuild, but that's my opinion.
Listen, Dave is one of my nearest and dearest and an incredible gentleman. Love him to pieces. Always good to see him in the chat. He's right. Listen, we keep. It's like we've just bought your kid a bike with stabilizers, and we're never prepared to take the stabilizers off. We just keep putting the stabilizers on or whatever. Listen, there's some of those youngsters that are going to make it and will be good, but we live in a state completely. And I always refer to Liverpool with this. Whenever Liverpool sign a youngster, let's say a Harvey Elliott, they go and buy a couple of superstars or experienced to go along with him. It's not just like, here you go, here's some youngsters, do what you got to do. I'm all for buying the lumps of coal and hoping they turn into diamonds, but you need diamonds to help them along. They don't. What are they going to learn off each other? They need diamonds around them to say, right, here you go, slot in with these guys, play around these guys, learn from these guys, watch them off the pitch as well as on the pitch. Not just, right, all you youngsters, you're coming through together, off you go. And hopefully things will change. I don't see it under this ownership, but hopefully they will.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. By the way, Brian, it is my birthday today, so I'm going to be shameless and say, guys, I don't ask for super chats. I don't ask for money, but the like button is extremely free. The like button is extremely free. And we've got 204 people in here and 65 likes, which is absolutely appalling. Just assume it's buying me a birthday present. A like, a tick. That's all it is. By the way, big up to Warren the other day from Edmonton, who did win the 2 tickets for Tottenham Hotspur versus Ipswich. I think what's interesting about this as well is, let me use another analogy, right? If you've got someone who's just turned 18 and they're going to a nightclub for the first time and they want to chat up girls, yeah, or the other way around, females, they want to chat up guys, the other way around. Right? But they've never done it before and they don't know how to do it, Brian.
Yep.
There's no point all of them going, there's no point 5 people who have never chatted up the opposite sex or the same sex, got to be politically correct, between them going to a club and going, go on, just do it. That person needs to go to the club with some older people that go, right, so I think the best way you approach that person is boom, boom, boom. That's the same as in football terms. You can't just buy loads of kids, put them all on the bench and go, right, these kids are going to see us over the line. These kids are going to grow together. These kids are part of the project. Because when push comes to shove, Brian, let's be brutally honest. When Spurs are losing in games, he ain't bringing on none of those kids for experience. When Spurs are losing games, Bentancur's coming on.
Yeah,
Carlos coming on. Werner's coming on. It's not your Bergvals. It's not your Grays. It's not your Odebergs. It's not your Lancashires.
Yep.
For me, I just think fans need to make their mind up as what they think this is. Is it a project? Is it a rebuild? Is it a process? For me, I just see that Spurs have gone cheap, and all of the Paul O'Keefe tweets this week have essentially said that Spurs aren't worried. Not worried, but Spurs' main focus, Brian, isn't on the football. And as a football fan and somebody who does not like Levy and the way the club is run, that has made me feel 100% justified in everything I think about this owner and the club. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, put it this way, mate. October the 26th was my 17th anniversary of being Levy out with Yol sacked. I've been saying everything for 17 years now.
We share that anniversary.
17 years, mate. We're almost out of our teenage years. We are almost out of our teenage years of being Levy out and say this. And talking to teenage years, I've just got a WhatsApp message. 2 people that are about to become teenagers. My eldest twin nephews, Isaac and Noah, are watching. So big up, Isaac and Noah. Love you, darlings. 2 new supporters for you there, Sava. You got mine.
How old are they?
12.
I'm so sorry, Isaac and Noah. Are they Spurs fans?
Of course, they went on the stadium tour this week. I weren't happy, but it was their dad that took them. But
I want to apologise, Noah, on behalf of Tottenham Hotspur for the life you're about to lead as football fans for the next 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years. I fully apologise, but you're going to have to feel what we've felt.
I take full responsibility, but they're in the chat. But yeah, like we said, it's 17 years. That you got to remember, the people like yourself, myself, Stel, and others, I could name loads of them, have been saying this for a very, very long time. And when I started saying this, obviously I wasn't on YouTube. I don't even think YouTube was a thing 17 years ago. Facebook had only just started coming onto the world 17 years ago. And I was saying these things, and obviously through our platforms, we've been able to get a louder voice, a bigger audience, and a bit of notoriety. And everything I've been saying, or we've been saying, yes, there's been some good times, but under this ownership has rung true. And the longer it continues, hopefully more and more people will realise it, and push will come to shove, and we'll get the numbers we need.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's mad. And I just find it so funny that so many have battled against this Levy thing for so many years. And I won't make it a Levy show. I'm not. I'm at the point where I'm past that. I'm at the point where I find it funny now, because everything we've said about Daniel Levy and the way this club has run has come true. Everything. Yep. And the biggest thing for me, every year, we look at our age, right? Every single transfer window since they invented the transfer window, right? Because for some of the younger fans, you may not believe this, but the transfer window wasn't always a thing. You used to be able to just buy whenever you wanted. And can you imagine that now? 10 games to go in the season, and to Man City go out and buy Mbappe. But for all those years, we were told by all these people that don't worry when the stadium's built, don't worry when we get Champions League football. And every year I'm told, wait till the summer. I love that one. Wait till the summer. Then when you're in the summer, Brian, it's you guys are so impatient. Wait till the transfer window's over. Then when the transfer window's over, and inevitably the same thing has happened that happened in the year before and the year before and the year before, then people start going, no, I think we had a good window. Great. Then when results go bad, it's, but it's not the manager's fault, we didn't buy well. And you're like, okay, great. So we're just flowing with the wind. Let's just flow out in the wind. But my point in all of this, Brian, is this summer, if anything, showed us everything we need to know about Tottenham Hotspur.
Yep.
Right. Whilst half the fan base were kidding themselves that this was a strategy. And what I mean is, Spurs got rid of nearly 30 million in wages this summer, whilst fans celebrated getting rid of Deadwood. We celebrated that whilst buying kids, right? Whilst not replacing that salary. And then they still didn't believe it. And it's taken Paul O'Keefe to come out and basically say, well, Spurs wanted to concentrate on getting the wage bill down, and on-field matters aren't as important. It's taken that for some people now to go, hang on, my club's not serious. Brian, we've been saying it for 17 bloody years.
I mean, I've heard all the excuses. I'm just waiting. I know it's a subject. I'm just waiting for, I mean, we all woke up to the news. You got the best birthday present to say that we now, the men's and women's first team now have official I can't even say these two words. Official furniture manufacturers. It's the news we all wanted to hear. Listen, mate, we've got more partners than a bigamist. I just do not get it. Listen, I've said, now you've brought that title. Listen, I spoke to Ben Daniel from We Are Tottenham TV this morning. The first thing he said to me is, when I showed him that message, was, well, Levy's finally listened, because I'm sure Pochettino said we needed new furniture in the stadium. He's just misquoted it and actually
this
gone for
you,
Poch. Here you go. Poch 5 years late. Like, we've got the back five that Conte would have absolutely loved, but now we've got the furniture supplier that Conte. Mate, this football club.
Do you know what this club needs? It needs the manager whoever that is, the future manager from 2030, to ring back, right? We need that manager to go into the future, ring back to the present, tell Daniel Levy what he needs now.
Yep. Yeah.
And by 2030, we might have it in place for him.
Mate, we did. Do you remember that TV show, Quantum Leap?
Yeah, I loved it. Was it Sam?
Yeah, that's what we need. We need that Quantum Leap machine, and then we go right the wrongs. That's it. That's it, mate.
Ziggy. Loved Quantum Leap.
Mate, what a show that was.
Sorry for anyone in the chat who has no idea what Quantum Leap is. Quantum Leap was a show, probably more famous in the 90s, maybe early noughties, but 90s, about a guy who he would wake up back in time, but as somebody else. And he'd look in the mirror and suddenly see that he was somebody else. Sometimes he was a man, sometimes he was a woman. And
that's the right and wrong
show. Brilliant show. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to find it. But Brian, listen, I've said Korean furniture partnerships because I didn't know this morning. You sent me, and when I looked at it and I saw that it was South Korean, and I'm sorry. The cynical side of me went, I wonder why we've done that. And you said before the show, Kulusevski must be annoyed. They've got quite a good furniture retailer going on over in their country. So poor Sweden.
I mean, what is this football club doing? Like, you look at it. You look at it. I spoke to my dad, and my dad said the first thing they're going to have made is personalized trophy cabinets. But you look at it. You look at it now, and it's like these players are millions of pounds a year. They have the highest specs of everything. Everything they have. And now they have official the men and women's first team. I'm sorry if you're in the youth team or the reserves or whatever, you're not eligible. But you look at it, this football club, I know they're trying to get spot. Obviously, the latest thing is we're looking for investment. We've heard this a million times, and then when the serious players come in, they can't agree the fee and the valuation. Big up, Howie. But listen, when you wake up and everything's going on, and Paulo keeps tweeting what he's tweeting of Spurs, then announce. What have we had this year? Brand new payment methods. We've had the Kraken on the sleeves. We've got Korean furniture, or just say furniture for the sake of it. Furniture. I mean, what is going on here? What is going on here? Yet still.
Haven't we got Dulux?
Oh, the official
paint sponsor. I don't know if I support a football team anymore. Like I've never known. If there are any fans of anyone other than Tottenham in the chat, and this is a genuine question, and basically anybody in the chat can answer this: do other football clubs announce as many partnerships as Tottenham do? It feels like it's every 2 or 3 weeks. The other week was an official. Was it an official attire? Was it official suit sponsorship or something? I remember one was like backpacks or something. What are we doing? Like, are we a football club? Because we've got all these partnerships, and then we want to buy loads of 18-year-old kids. Sorry, but if anybody by this stage cannot see that football is not the number one priority at this club, then they are absolutely kidding themselves at this stage.
Do you know what it is as well? Do you know what I think it is? I think other clubs probably do it. But I'm going to use Liverpool, for example. So if there's any Liverpool fans in here, they can correct me if I'm wrong. Liverpool announced sponsorships, maybe not as regularly and as many as us for every single thing, but they've got like their sponsorships with Nivea and everything that they do. And I regularly see social media posts where Liverpool players go out because of their partnership with Nivea, and kids that have got long-term illnesses or special needs or elderly people, they go out and surprise them at their houses, give them a day at Liverpool, do this, do that. They actually use these sponsorships for the greater good. Right. I never ever see. Listen, I'm not saying that Spurs don't do any good within the community, because they absolutely do. But if Liverpool announce right now they've got a new sponsor, they're like, okay, new sponsor, new money coming in, new reach. but they go ahead and win things. They go ahead and spend big money. And get the things that they focus on the football. We just don't. We just don't. Like it's. I mean, obviously, it's, when Ben Daniel, first thing he says to me is, "Well, Pochettino said he needed new furniture," and it's just like, you're so right. You're so it's ridiculous. It's just
this is true. Did you see what Sonny was wearing the other night?
I wanted to play a game of chess on his jacket. You could have played chess or checkers. It's
what is it with some of these footballers, right? Just by the way, if anyone was tuning in for a really serious show, that's not what you're not going to get it today. You're not going to bring me down. By the way, please keep hitting the like button. We should be on 200 likes easily. We're only on 109. Big up to each and every one of you. Brian, when I watch some of these footballers and what they're wearing, I don't know what happens to them, that they suddenly become rich and you dress like, I don't know. It's all, I'd like to think if I became rich, I might buy some nicer clothes, so to speak. But I'd like to think that I wouldn't suddenly stand out as I walk down the street for all the wrong reasons. Do you know what I mean? And Didier, this is not going to
happen. We're all going to get it now. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not going to be an aficionado or whatever. An aficionado, is that the right word? Of Korean or any kind of furniture company. If someone says to me, name a furniture company, the first one I say is IKEA. Probably the only one I know. Let's face it. But it's like, come on now. It's like, how many sponsorships? Do you know what? I've kind of got behind now. I understand why the naming rights hasn't happened, because they're getting a lot of everyone saying the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and with the NFL, it's getting that name out. I kind of get it. Yes, we'd love the revenue to come in. But I can kind of understand it. But the fact that we said for 4 years we're looking for it, and then funnily enough, no one would hit the number Levy wanted, is another thing. But like we said, SAVVA, I'm taking it now. You and I have trademarked it. It is the Jekyll and Hyde Arena. That is what it's going to be. This is the thing. Even with the naming rights now, how simple would it have been to call it the Bill Nicholson Stadium or the Bill Nick Arena? How easy. Forget the statues and everything, the gates or whatever. Call it the Bill Nick Arena.
Do you know what? I've said this since day one. Right? I have never, ever had a problem with a business making money. I mean,
correct.
It needs the money. I've always had the problem that all of this nonsense that it gets pumped back into the side, it does, but sparingly. Yep. And what I mean by that is, and more, I think fans are waking up to the fact that, does Daniel Levy put money in that we earn? Yes, he does. None of us can say we don't spend money. But we spend like some of the teams below us. Sorry. We spend like some of the teams below us when it comes to wages. Right? Like, if you're going to be a big club and you're going to make that money, make it translate onto the pitch. Because do you know what? If Daniel Levy did that, if Daniel Levy goes out, and I don't mean for one window, if Daniel Levy went out and buys Locatelli, Eze, Conor Gallagher, a top centre half, a top goalkeeper, if he starts doing all those things and they're being paid 200 grand a week, you turn around and go, crack on, do what you've got to do. Have the NFL, have the concerts, have all your sponsorships, have your partnerships, because you are actually trying to use that money to make Spurs go from here to there. Problem is, he's not. Problem is, we're acting exactly the same way we did as when we were at White Hart Lane. Right. I'd argue that we're buying lesser players now than we did when we were at White Hart Lane. So, look, I don't want to go all mad with it, but it's funny, right? The furniture jokes are going to be out in force in the next couple of days. Right. And other fan bases, Brian, take the piss out of us because they don't see us as a threat. We're not a threat. We're not a threat.
Listen, I think what people got to realise as well, you and I aren't sitting here going, do you know what? This partnership and Dulux and all the other ridiculous ones we've got are bringing in tens of hundreds of millions that are going to generate. These aren't they're money coming in, but they're not going to heavily affect a transfer. We're not going to go from a £50 million player to 100 million just because of the amount of partnership. It's never going to happen. The money that comes in, these sponsorships are mainly to attract people from these areas. Like, it'll bring more South Korean people in. And do you know what? Brilliant. brilliant. The South Korean fan base are massive, whether it's through Sunny or not. They bring a lot of money into Tottenham Hotspur. Fact, you can't get away from it. So it's never going to change our outlook on transfers, these sponsorships. But when these come out, like you said, and we handle things the way we're going to do, we can't spend money. We're trying to lessen the wage bill, blah, 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 blah. But here you go. We have now got official, and the way they said it, the men's and women's first team now have official. I mean, that's what they've all sat there for. They all said in their contract, listen, can I have an official furniture endorsement, please? Not one player has thought that, said it anywhere. But it's, listen, it is what it is. But things have got to start correlating with all the money coming in and the revenue match day brings and everything. It's got to correlate on that football pitch. Otherwise, it is. We are the butt of jokes, and it is, mate.
We are.
Mate, we're diehard Spurs team fans, and we take the piss out of us. Like you said, if we'd had a window with an Eze, a Gallagher, a Locatelli, a goalkeeper, people like you and me will come out on YouTube and go, "Do you know what? Fair fucking play."
Yeah, exactly.
You've actually that's the thing. If Levy finally backs and gets, let's just say January. I know January is a hard window to get people, but we actually went and did things and got things. You and I will come out. You and I will come out and go, do you know what? Well done. Well played. This is what we want to see. But it's just absolute nonsense.
Will SAVVA ever have a good take? I don't know. I said Spurs would finish 5th last year and we finished 5th. That was pretty accurate, wasn't it? I said that Spurs were going to have a crappy transfer window. Pretty accurate, wasn't it? But thank you for coming into the chat, Cole. I almost hope, do you know what? This is such a bad message, Brian. I almost hope that it was that dog in the picture that typed it. That's what I'm hoping. It was that dog that did it. Big up to you, Cole. Everyone say hello to Cole. We like a troll on this show. So big up to the troll. Cole the troll, we'll call you. Big up, Cole. But listen, you're right. As I said, whenever I watch these panel shows, right? Whenever I watch these panel shows, Brian, and I see the and I see like the Spurs fan, whoever the Spurs fan is, it's not one Spurs fan, right? Hang on. Cole, yes, my birthday. I've got a massive ego today. Yeah, I'm the only person in the world that matters. Big up to you, man. On a serious note, just relax with them, Cole, because banter's one thing. Let's not get silly with it, all right? You're a grown-up, all right? Try and be one. The more I watch these panel shows, right, and again, it doesn't matter who the Spurs content creator is, but I'm fighting, and I almost... I envy. I don't envy them. I almost think fair play to them because they're fighting a battle. They know that they're chatting shit. Yeah, they're trying to put that out. But Arsenal, what have you done? It's like, oh god, yeah. Listen, Arsenal might not be winning titles, but let's be fair. Look at their last 10 years. They've won a hell of a lot more than us. Oh, Liverpool gutted you. Look at Chelsea. You've had a bad couple of years. Yeah, and still look at their last 20 years. So for me. Oh god, let's just get rid of this cold bug. Sorry, 1 second, people. Sorry, just can't be bothered.
Just ignore, bro. If there's one thing I've learned over the last couple of weeks, just ignore.
Yeah, sorry, just blocking him. But the funny thing about it is, the other people on the panel shows their responses to Spurs fans are magnificent because they literally we go, we're this, we're that, and they come back and go, when did you last win a trophy? And it's like. When did you last buy a top player? And I just find it funny now that other fan bases literally laugh at us because of what we've become.
So this is why people like yourself and me, or I think you're the same as me, where I've said I don't care. So Simeon said to me when I went on the preview for Man City, he says to me, Brian, if you had a choice, you beat Manchester City in the Carabao Cup, but you lose to Villa and City in the league, or you lose to City in the Cup, but you beat Villa and City in the league. I was like, winning the Cup and losing the league. I do not care where we finish in the league this year. I do not care. Obviously, I don't want to finish bottom half, near relegation, whatever. I want a trophy. I don't think we get top 4, even if everything goes our way. We know three of the top 4 already. All I want is the trophy. As soon as we get as soon as we get a trophy, all those when did you last win a trophy? They go. They're gone. Ta-da, see you later.
Right.
Just like man, West Ham when they won the Conference League, and there's like, oh, we've now won a trophy. They've got it on us. It may not be the elite trophy. I don't even care if we win the Carabao Cup and Arsenal come at us and go, yeah, it's only a Mickey Mouse Cup. Okay, well, we've won a trophy more recent than you.
Yeah.
When did you last win a trophy? This season. It cuts it all. All I care about is getting as far as we can and winning a trophy, because I don't want to be here this time next year going 17 years without a trophy.
But do you know what, Brian? And you know this as much as I do, right? And this has just come in timely. This is a real timely, and I don't think this is the real Joe Barton. I wish it was. That I'd love Joe Barton on the show. I think that'd be hilarious. This is it. As fans, we can turn around and say, yeah, I'm happy with 7th if we win an FA Cup, if we win a League Cup. But the one person that's not happy with that, and we know it, Brian, we know the one, and I'm not talking about Joe Barton now. It's not. Daniel Levy is the one that the moment, look, we can talk all we want about could we win a League Cup? Could we win the Europa League? You know, and I know, if we get to 20 games into this season and top 4 is 15, 16 points away, 12 points away, you know what Daniel Levy's going to do. You know it. I know it, right? Because that is his golden egg. That is what he wants from Tottenham, right? Is he sees it that, all right, we win a League Cup. Let's assume, right? There's 224 of you in here right now. Hopefully, we win the League Cup. We're all there at the ground if we're lucky enough to get tickets. If not, we're on YouTube channels. We're all celebrating and we're all happy. We've had a day out. Spurs have won a trophy. Yes, the trophy drought is over. Daniel Levy looks at that as, how much money do you get for winning the League Cup?
So, SAVVA, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask fans, however many in the chat, just to put a one-word response. Now, I've said it to myself, and I think I said it on Tottenham on Tour. If Daniel Levy had the choice of top 4 and finishing in the top 4, let's just say 4th, because we know the top 3, what they're going to be, and the money that comes in with that, or winning the Europa League and getting Champions League that way, and it's less money, just respond in the chat, people. Do you think Levy would either want top 4 or Europa League? Because I think he'd choose top 4.
I think he would. But look, at the same time, I can't be disingenuous, Brian. At the same time, I've got to say, I'm not one of these fans who says, oh, I'll finish 10th and as long as we win a Europa League or a League Cup. For me, it shouldn't be either or. For me, as the club with the money we've got, we should be saying we want to win a cup and finish top 4. Right? That's what we should be doing. It should. And I know that this whole kind of would you rather has been created over years of not winning things. Yep. The bigger clubs don't talk like that. You will never see a bigger club go, well, it don't matter if we finished 8th, we won the League Cup. If Arsenal finished 8th but won the League Cup, they're Arteta out. But you know what I mean? That's their level of, and I'm not even saying Arsenal are the benchmark, because Liverpool and Man City, let's be fair, Man City have been the benchmark. But that, for me, is the difference between what Spurs want and what fans want. That's the difference right there. And I mean, I don't know. What is it? A couple of million for winning the League Cup?
Let's have it. I'll check it right now.
Right. Versus Champions League, depending on how far you go the next year, can be worth up to 80, 85 million. And this is where Spurs are as a club. And we've got a lot of accountants in our fan base now that want that over.
The League Cup winners win 100 grand. Here you go. I've just Googled it. League Cup win how much? And it's come up. League Cup winners receive £100,000 prize money awarded by the Football League, with the runners-up receiving 50 grand. Considered relatively insignificant to top flight teams compared to the £2 million prize money of the FA Cup, which is, so 100 grand for the League Cup. But put it this way, winning the League Cup doesn't even cover 1 week of Timo Werner's wages.
Madness. When you put it like that, do you know what I've always...
Or any other player on 100 grand plus.
Oh, look, we're going to go for another 10 minutes, by the way, people, because I need to get a haircut. I'm going for a meal tonight and all that. But one thing that I've always been an advocate of, Brian, is lots of people say lots of people talk about what was I going to say? What about the FA Cup losing its prestige? For me, I'm a massive fan of saying, okay, if that's the case, make it that the top 3 from the Premier League get Champions League football and the winners of the FA Cup. Make people go all out for it. Make people like Daniel Levy think, hang on, the FA Cup now is worth, I don't know, you can't say how much getting Champions League football is exactly because it depends how far you go in it. But I believe the year we got to the final, it was worth something like 75, 80 million to Tottenham, right? Or something like that, all added up. If you said to Daniel Levy, look, we got 6-7 games to win the FA Cup and it gets us Champions League football, I think you might see a little bit of a difference in this football club. I'd love that. I'd love to see the FA Cup go back to that prestige. Now, I know it's unfair because it's only 6-7 games versus 38 games, but give people a reason to fight for the trophies. Because as football fans, if we do not think that trophies are the barometer of success, why do we support a football club? If it's not about trophies, Brian, why don't I just turn around and say, you know what? I don't support a football team. I'm a football fan. And I create a channel where, you know what? I'm not Spurs. I'm not Arsenal. I'm not City. I'm not Liverpool. I'm just, I want to watch football and it don't matter who wins.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I'm happy you mentioned about the FA Cup and losing it, but I saw a thing the other day with Helen Chamberlain, who people remember from Soccer Saturday and everything. She did a massive thing about the FA Cup and how the FA Cup is such a... People of our age, SAVVA, and people that lived internationally around our age, people that lived internationally got to see one game of English football a year, and it was the FA Cup final. It's heritage, it's prestige. To me, still, I grew up on the FA Cup. The FA Cup is the most magical football club. Football tournament, club tournament in world football. And obviously you got domestic football, so not the Champions League. The FA Cup, I remember seeing things like Sutton knocking Coventry out when we lost to Coventry the year before. Wrexham knocking out the Filth with a Mickey Thomas free kick the year. There are things in this FA Cup that they have done. The FA Cup, to me, will always have the prestige, the magic. It kind of started dying when Manchester United won the treble and they went to the World Club Cup and they were the first team to knock it. And now it's obviously lost a bit. But for me, it will never, ever, ever, ever lose its prestige. And you got to remember, this is the thing that's been so apparent with Levy's tenure, is that cup was Tottenham Hotspur's cup. That cup, if someone said to you, I remember back in the day where when it came to cup competitions, if you drew Tottenham Hotspur, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, we were all over it.
It was the one team you didn't want to draw in a cup because of our prestige, our heritage, our success in it. And we won it in 1991, and I remember it's clear as day. As will Tom 81, Dave Raybold, Gary Officer that I can see in the chat, Daryl, yourself. There's other people in the chat that I can see, but the names are there. Well, I remember it's clear as day. And if someone had said to me in 1991, you won't see Tottenham Hotspur in an FA Cup final, or let alone win it, let alone an FA Cup final, up until 2025. Let's hope we get there.
Yeah.
I think not even Spurs fans would have said, what are you talking about? The year will end in one, Spurs will be there, or Spurs will get to an FA Cup final. Don't get me wrong, we got to a few semi-finals, but if someone had said to any Spurs fan in 1991, whatever your age is, you won't be in another FA Cup final until, or let's just say up until 2024, you won't be in a single final.
It's madness.
Across the board would have said, not a chance.
Do you know the thing, Brian? Do you know the funny thing about all this as well is I think, again, it depends on the age. But this is why when fans of our age or older, and I'm sure there's going to be people of our age in there. I know there's a few in there that are older. I won't call them out. But when you're of age and you have seen success, you have seen some trophy wins, we've seen some top players throughout the year. This is why I do struggle a bit with this whole YouTube scene of how people can so easily call people fake fans and, you're not a real fan and you want Spurs to lose. When you're thinking, Jesus Christ, I remember going into school in 1991 and going, we've got Gaza.
Yeah.
Spurs are amazing. We're going to be this. And since then, it's just been like, since that 91 Cup final, we have won what? 1999 League Cup and 2000 League Cup. If someone had said to you 24 years ago, 24? No. What am I doing?
Well,
34 years ago, 33 years ago, someone had said on that day that we saw Gary Mabbott do that with the FA Cup because of a Des Walker own goal. What a player, Des Walker, by the way.
Yep.
But if someone had said Spurs are going to win 2 League Cups in the next 34 years, you would turn around and go, shut up. Like, wouldn't you? Shut up.
Mate, we didn't go a decade without. In every decade you want to go back for, up until the last decade we were in, we've always won a trophy. Always won a trophy. We're halfway through the next one, almost, literally months away from being halfway through. Still nothing. You got to remember, people again that aren't as old as us, that maybe teenagers, even my nephews who are still watching, they've just sent me a message. They won't understand that the FA Cup, you woke up in the morning and from 10 a.m. until the end of the day, it was non-stop. It was just BBC One, FA Cup. You saw them leaving the hotel. You saw the routes. You saw Wembley. They were all just not. There was like 8 hours. It was the whole day. No one went out unless you went to your family or the pub, whatever age you were, going to the game. You just sat down in front of the telly and you did not move. Now it's like, right, an hour before kickoff, the game, done.
Yeah. Where are you watching the cup final? I don't know. I forgot it was on. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? But this is brilliant. Spurs are unbeaten in FA Cup finals since 1987. Yes, we are. That will be the next thing we go on panel shows saying. No one's beaten us in a cup final. Look, Brian, I do need to wrap the show up in the next 60 seconds. I love our chats as always. I know you can't make next week. But we'll be back the week after.
We certainly will.
Look, guys and girls, I'll always put this out there. Listen, I'm trying to build this culture within my viewers and the followers on this show. I think we've got a lot of people of age that actually want, that speak about football properly, have that right blend of a laugh. All we all want is Tottenham to win a trophy. I don't care if we win it by hook or crook. I want a League Cup. None of this nonsense that you can't celebrate because you said this. None of that nonsense. We're Tottenham fans. We want to win a trophy. Let's hope that comes. First of all, much love to Steve saying we can't be in our 40s.
45. I'm 45 years old.
We are, Steve. The Brian is 45. I'm 42 today. So between us, we've got, what's that, 87.
The year we lost the FA Cup. There you go.
Yeah,
it's destined. We're winning the FA Cup. We are winning the FA Cup.
It's an omen. Big up to absolutely everyone. Thank you very much for all the birthday wishes. Please smash the like button. Big up to Tom81. I love Tom. So big up to Severin Brian making me crack up. Listen, you've got to have
look at the t-shirt. Look at the t-shirt he's wearing.
Tottenham on tour. Yeah, where's my Football Heritage TV t-shirt? I need to get some made. Listen, guys, girls, I'm off. I am going to I'm gonna eat cake tonight like you. I want to be sick tomorrow. Like I'm going to eat that much tonight. I'm going to a nice restaurant. Take care, everyone. Brian, thank you very much. I'm being picked up in 4 minutes. So I've got to run. Much love. And as always, even to the trolls out there, leave me out and come on, you Spurs.
Mate, that was